It is with great shame and embarrassment that I relay my story to you. One Saturday night, I called a mate to see if he'd like to watch the footy over a few beers. After driving over to his place, we decided to watch the game on the big screen at the pub. Again, I drove. My team was winning, my mate was getting angry, and the beer was tasting very good. After the game, we played pool and I was winning and I was happy. At no stage did I think to monitor how much I'd drunk or how tipsy I was feeling. It just didn't occur to me. We had decided to call it a night as I had stayed longer than I intended. On the way back, we were chatting and having a laugh when we heard an almighty crash. The airbags went off. We were stunned. After checking to see if we were both okay, we both asked, "What happened?" I jumped out of my car and saw another car up to my left, up on the nature strip. As I got closer, my stomach sank. I could see that the car was wrapped around a pole, and the pole was where the driver's door should be. It would seem that I'd hit the back of their car and caused them to lose control. Both my passenger and I didn't have a scratch on us. People were gathering around as we were right outside some fast food stores. I ran to the other car and forced open the passenger door. I saw a young woman, blood around her nose and mouth. She was moaning, calling out for her husband. He was pushed against her, head facing me. His eyes were open, lifeless eyes, staring at me. They seemed to accuse me while I felt for a pulse. This image is what I see every morning upon waking, every night as I try to sleep, and countless hours during the day. From the crash scene, I was taken to the hospital where I was looked at by the doctors and arrested by the police. It was then that it really sunk in. I was the one that pushed that car off the road. I alone am responsible for everything that's happened since. When I got home, I thought, what have I done? I'm in so much trouble, and how am I going to tell everybody what's happened? Then it dawned on me, this was not about me, it's about the family of my victims, the young wife whose body and life I've shattered, their friends, my family and friends, and so on. I've read the medical reports of the injuries I've caused the young lady. They are extensive. I know that some injuries will heal, but she'll never be physically 100% again. How could I ever make her feel a little bit better? The sad truth is, I know I never can. As for the man I killed, he had his whole life ahead of him. A sportsman, loved by all hopes, dreams and happiness gone, and for no reason. What does it feel like to kill a man? Well, I can tell you it dominates your thoughts. It can reduce a grown man to tears at any time. Regret is a terrible thing. The relentless nightmares. Just the knowledge that I've devastated so many lives keeps a pain in my heart fresh and constant. I cannot clean this stain off my soul. It's not something you can switch off. This is forever. I'm certain that very shortly I'll be going to jail. This, of course, scares me a lot. I've never heard of anyone who's been there say that it was okay and they wouldn't mind going back. I know that I'll be sentenced for many years. I only hope that this gives the families the feeling that some justice has been served. This time in prison means that any relationship with girlfriends is lost. My hopes of buying a house this year, my career, and just being with the ones I love, they're stashed. Finding a job will be harder because I've served time in prison. This is because I thought it wouldn't happen to me. The usual justifications ran through my head. I'm a good driver. I can handle my alcohol better than most. and I'd have to be very unlucky for anything to happen. Truthfully, I was more worried about a booze bus than killing someone. Of course, it wasn't me who was unlucky. It was all those people I've hurt because of my stupid, selfish behaviour. Looking back, I'm amazed at my lack of responsibility. Why would I risk so much? I suppose it's because I arrogantly believed that this was something that happened to other people. I've had friends who have died in car accidents before, but I could never believe that I'd be the cause of one. My rationale sounds incredibly stupid when I say it out loud. If only I'd tried to convince myself out loud then, I would have heard how foolish I'd sounded. However, what ifs are for the future, not the past. I cringe when I hear a comment like, "I'm more relaxed when I've had a few and therefore a better driver," or "She'll be right, I'm only going around the corner," or "I'll need my car first thing in the morning so I can't leave it here." I remember saying similar things and dismissing other people's concerns. I wish I didn't ignore those TAC ads, ignore my friend's advice, or ignore the truth that I knew deep down inside. I can say that I'd give my life if it meant I could bring back the man I killed, a man I never knew. I often look at children I know and love and privately shed a tear at all the important things in their lives that I'll miss, as I'll be behind bars as a result of my own stupidity. In the first couple of weeks after the crash, I was a prisoner of my couch. I was so crippled with emotion that I was simply unable to move. I couldn't work, see anyone, or have coherent thoughts. Eventually, I returned to work, but without much enthusiasm. The constant guilt and remorse robbed me of my ability to laugh or to have a good time. When I did venture out, it was a disaster. My friends couldn't relate to what I was going through, and as such, I was poor company. This made me feel boring and unwanted as the downer of the group. It has taken a while, but I occasionally do go out with my friends, but my thoughts keep me a little bit separate from them. I don't seem to laugh anymore. Life for me goes on, but it's not the same. Another cost to this is a purely financial one. I'd like you to consider how much many years of salary, lawyers, court costs, a couple of cars, massive medical expenses, including the air ambulance, and weeks of intensive care, rehabilitation, etc. How much that would all add up to. It's sure more than any taxi fare I've ever heard of. It really is enough to financially cripple someone for a long time. I know this doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but it's just one more thing to think about. I also wonder, what do people whom I cherish think of me? Although they've never said so, it must be terribly sad and disappointing for my parents to think of their son going to jail. Can my friends really be proud to be associated with me? I think of all the people I've let down, and this just adds to my despair. I've been told, "You've just made a mistake and you have to forgive yourself." However, I have to be honest. I don't think I'd easily forgive someone who'd killed my loved ones if I knew it could have been avoided. I know I won't ever forgive myself, as I truly feel I don't deserve it. Obviously, I didn't mean to kill and injure people when I drove off that night, but driving when I shouldn't have means that I didn't really care if I did. This is what I find so terrible. All this death, damage and heartache were totally unnecessary. I've refrained from using the term accident, as it was me who was totally to blame. This is something I cannot reconcile with my conscience. This will haunt me for the rest of my life. Thank you all for listening.